to Unmasking the Blueprint on a Monday. Okay, go figure. So you know this is a big deal, and we're talking about some serious matters if we're on here on a Monday, right? And so we're on here on this Monday because we're going to talk about raising our political performance. And what does that look like, and how can we do that? And so we have some major hearers that's going to be on tonight that's going to talk to us about it. But I want them to introduce themselves to you first. All right. We're going to start with Dr. Coretta Fontenot. Tell us a little bit about you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Coretta Fontenot, the chair of the NAACP Political Action Committee.
All right. Thank you for being on the show today. All right, Miss Amazing Steans, what's going on? What you got?
I'm Tracie Steans. I'm with the Texas Democratic Women of Galveston County. I'm the events chair, and I also serve with the NAACP Harris County Political Action and Membership.
Thank you. We're so glad to have you on, Miss Steens. All right, the amazing Nicholas Little. What you got, Mr. Littles?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicholas Little. I'm the current Criminal Justice Chairman for the Houston branch NAACP. I also serve in the Greater Houston Coalition of Justice, and I also work in federal law enforcement as well.
We're so glad to have you, Mr. Little. PastorAngelia, the amazing PastorAngelia, what you got for us?
Yeah. I'm PastorAngelia Clark-Burgin. I also chair in TDW. I'm founder and pastor of Accepting God's Favor Ministry and founder and pastor of Bridging the Gap Outreach Ministry in Texas City, Texas.
Okay. We're so glad to have you on, PastorAngelia. So we're going to just go right in, guys, okay? We're not wasting no time on this Monday, okay? We got to get to work and get to the business. Okay, so what do you think our political performance, why do you think our political performance is so low, guys?
I'll jump in first.
Okay.
So one of the things that I can share with you is that what I'm hearing from people in my circle is a lot of negative news, which leads to voter apathy. It sort of wears on people mentally, and so a lot of people are really like tuning out from the news. They're not being as up to date with what's happening in politics because it's taken such a negative turn. And then when you couple that with the strict voter ID laws that we have, and you look at the racial gerrymandering that we just went through here in Texas, and how people can be so just kind of worn down and worn out from that. But I want those are some of the things that I'm hearing and some of the things that I'm seeing, and we know this because we've seen this type of voter suppression and lack of voter engagement before, and so we know how to turn this thing around.
That's so good, guys. That is so good. What you got, Ms. Steens?
Priorities. I believe people don't understand how important it is and their priorities. A lot of it's from how people have been brought up. They don't understand how it affects them until it really affects them personally. They hear about it, but as soon as it comes down to voting, something takes place. Maybe they're tired, they don't show up, they'll do it later. And most people think that they don't show up, that nobody notices. And so with that accountability not being there, and if they know that you didn't say, hey, I see that you didn't vote, I think more people would come out there and vote. So it's priorities, it's the way they came up, and they just don't care. It's not important to them.
And sometimes I think that people don't make the connection between voting and resource distribution. They think of voting as being something that's quite personal. Like, I'm voting for this person because I like them as a human being, or I like them as a friend. This is somebody I go to church with. But that's not why you engage in the voting process. You engage in the voting process because you want to make sure that resources are coming to your community, resources that you deserve and that you're paying taxes for, quite frankly.
That's good. Nick, what's your input?
I think the I think the local and the people don't understand too that the local ones are just as important as the big elections. So that part too.
True.
Oh, so I think from what I've seen and the people I've been around a lot of times, I feel like a lot of people have lost faith in the voting system, whether it be just being able to just cast your vote, or whether it be just a person that is elected. You know, there's a lot of people who should not be in office, but are elected, like Dr. Fontenot said, you know, just because I know them or they go to my church, but they really have no business being there. So whenever you have people who may not vote, or who are even inquiring about voting, look at that and see that these politicians or these public leaders that we elect are supposed to be working for us, but instead of like we're working for them and we're the constituent, it's very discouraging to, you know, to try to even go to the poll to vote, to realize that there's a lot of people who end up getting in office who don't serve in our best interests as far as the communities that they represent.
That's so good. Pastor Angela.
Just what I've been hearing is basically what everybody else is saying, a lack of people thinking they don't matter. And that's basically what it is. They think, you know, my vote doesn't matter. They're going to put in who they want to put in anyway. So why waste my time going to vote? It's all rigged, you know. And then, like, as we were saying before, elderly people thinking they don't have a way, you know. So there's a whole lot of things to pay attention. We discussed last time how we can fix that. But I think it's just a sense of hopelessness. There's a sense of hopelessness.
Wow, that is so good. For those who are watching, first of all, we want to welcome you in. And if you have an input or you have a question, please drop it in the comments. We would love to answer. And if we don't, we're going to get the resources to find out the answer to it. But negative news, so great. Don't feel like it's a priority. So understand that. Losing faith, got it. And hopelessness, wow. Those answers was amazing. And I felt that. I feel like that's definitely what the community feels. How can we improve this, Dr. Coretta?
One of the things I think that I have been hearing for the last, I would say 15, well, really probably since I was 18, is that Democrats don't have enough fight in them.
Oh,
yeah. When Republicans come to vote, they go to war. Like they plan and they prepare. They come out with a clear, succinct bumper sticker message, right? And I don't care if it's true, if it's false, up, down, left, right, whatever the case may be. Every Republican sticks to that talking point. Like they believe in falling in line. They understand the bigger picture. A lot of young people that I'm connected to particularly are saying that these people don't hear me. They're not reaching me where I am. They keep doing respectability politics. And it's time out for that is what a lot of young people are saying. You have to speak truth to power, and you have to be willing to do so and use those same facts, figures, statistics, and all of those things, use them in a way that's really going to benefit, you know, your community that you're saying you want to represent.
So good. So good. I kind of felt like I heard you say that we need a strategy.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes.
A clear, succinct message. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out platform. That's one of the things about the Democratic Party is, as you know, we are a big tent, and we are a family of all, you know, of everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. But there have to be some things that we come to a consensus on, and that we say these are going to be our priorities. We also have to acknowledge things that are causing us to lose elections.
Come on.
Turn certain voters away. Because I've also heard Democrats say, well, you know, in this area, you know, I'm quite conservative in this area. And so we have to be mindful of that as we are crafting our message. We aren't trying to be so big and so broad that we're trying to capture everybody. We need something people can rattle off the top of their head, you know, just at the drop of a dime, right? When people mention Donald Trump, people still say he gave me a stimulus check.
Girl.
During COVID when I was under
the ignorance is crazy.
It is. It is. But Donald Trump knew what he was doing by holding that check hostage so he could have his signature on it. He knew exactly what he was doing because he knew
Yeah.
people wouldn't do the research, but they would look at that signature on the check.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have one
Facts.
signature thing that we just all agree on across the board.
That's good. That's good. Tracie, did you have anything to add to that?
I believe training. People
Mm,
need to understand the education all the way across the board. One of the things that I believe that we need to be flexible. A lot
okay.
of organizations, I mean, we have Democrats under different umbrellas, you know, and we need to come together and be flexible to say, oh no, we over here, we the blacks, or we the Bay Area. You don't hear that with the Republicans. You hear that they are just Republicans, and we need to be able to take off of some of those labels and say, hey, together that we're here. Another thing that we should do differently. This is a actually a good time right now where people who are Republicans are changing over. They're being independent
That's right.
and saying, hey, I'm a Republican, but I'm not voting this way. We need to go ahead and get rid of all the red tape and talk to each other and be on one accord right now. Because at the end of the day, it affects all our democracy.
That's
And
right.
so we need to be able to put those red and blue down to the side and be able to talk to each other and get on one accord together. I've noticed that when we're out there protesting and meeting other people, this would be a good thing. Also, too, keep it fresh. We know what's going on. We see what's happening, and don't
Right.
let certain distractions, like right now, what's going on, keep
Mm-hmm.
us from the vision that's happening out here. We need
Mm-hmm.
not to be distracted. We get distracted too easily and to forget that the strategy we're supposed to be working on.
That's right.
Follow through, consistency, training, and utilize our resources. Don't work harder, work smarter. Use social media.
Right.
Get out the box and be different. So those are the things that we can do to strengthen our.
That was good. So what I heard was how we can improve is we need to be mindful of what people are really looking for. We need to be on one accord. Togetherness. That was so good. And
Mm-hmm.
so, Nick, I know
Yes,
you're in
ma'am.
the justice area. Would you like to add an input how we could do that in the justice area?
I mean, to be honest with you, whenever the president first came into office for a second term and he talked about police immunity and things like that, that right there was a red flag, not just to the constituency of the country, but many of us that work in law enforcement as well, because we realize that there are people that we work side by side with sometimes who are not exactly the people that have the highest amount of integrity or the most honest. So not only do we have to be more mindful of the people that we work with as far as how they're treating the community, but we also got to watch our backs too, because we don't know who's in their pocket. And people don't think
Right.
about it a
That's
lot. A lot of people don't think about that. I could go to a
right.
gunfight and somebody be on the wrong side, and next thing you know, I'm out of here, and no one knows what happened. I just went down.
Wow.
So the
That's right.
rhetoric, the rhetoric that's being put out there is confusing for some. For some of us who actually work, I guess you would say behind the lines, we see what's going on, and we're just hoping that we can figure this thing out. Because one thing I can honestly say that I've seen is that a lot of times we tend to rejoice over a few battles and we fail to realize that we're still at war,
That's
for
right.
for our
Right.
very own democracy. I was watching TV the other day, and a person was interviewing someone and they said, no, this is a republic. I'm like, wait, if this is a republic, that means that people don't have a voice. This is a democracy. So
That's
something's
it.
wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. So we have to be mindful of the rhetoric that's being put out. Make sure that, especially from a justice standpoint, that we do stand up for what we believe in. Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So we need to make sure.
That's
We need to make sure we do it right. We need to make sure that we connect, as mentioned, with organizations, work together, stop being so segmented in different areas. Because if we're divided, how can we ever come together to achieve anything?
it.
If we're all working on separate things, trying to build towards the same system, we're not communicating with each other. So I think that's probably the most vital aspect, and that's communicating, advocating, and just making sure that we stand on business.
That is so good. Heck, he said communicate and advocate and stand on business. Okay. Yes, all of them. Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, so Pastor Angela, how
Yes,
can
ma'am.
we do that in the church wise? I don't know if I said that right. Church wise.
No, I know when they were all talking, um, SUS came to mind, and exactly what they were saying: strategy, unity, and stay focused. And
Okay.
that's what we can do. Because in the church in the church community. I'll put it that way. There are those ones who they want to know what's going on, but they don't want to be involved.
Ooh.
I want this to change and this needs to change, but I don't want to put myself out there. And I feel like we as pastors, ministers, we need to come together first, because that's the unity. We're divided. So first off, get united, come together on one accord. We can have Q&As. For all these questions we have, why is it that people feel like it's not important to vote? And then let them know why it is important to vote. Let them know why it is important that we are seen out there, because the church hides behind those ones of us who were out there. And then when everything goes good, we did this. When everything go bad, y'all did that. No, we all need to come together and let people see that, yes, we can be involved in what's going on in the world and not be, because they get one or two scriptures and they want to hang off of that. So yes, we do need to know what's going on. How can you, so what the Bible says for us to pray, but it also says to watch and pray. So in watching, you got to know what's going on so that you know what to take. You can't communicate nothing to God that you don't know what's going on. And then it also tells us to be vigilant. Be vigilant means we got to be in there. We got to be in the fight. A good soldier stands their ground. A good soldier stands on the business. We don't have to be out there cussing. We ain't got to be out there fighting. We ain't got to be out there busting out windows and having rights, because you can peacefully protest. You can be a spiritual leader and let people know what side that you're standing on. But when we're standing there saying all of this, all that, I was listening to what I think it was Dr. Coretta we were talking about. And Brother Nicholas said too, everybody in your circle ain't in your corner.
Come on.
So we got to understand, just because that's my brother in Christ don't mean that's your brother. And so we got to understand, we got to get together and talk to people and find out where their minds are, where your mindset at. And then we can come together. Those who are thinking alike, then we can get together. I think we have all of these buildings, all these churches. You got these fellowship halls. Get in there and have some voter registration. Means open the church up to have some voter registrations, because you got a lot of people in there, different demographics, who need to all come together. You got young people, you got elderly people, you got some people who are low income, you got people middle class. So everybody needs to come together and sit down, form a strategy. You got these church vans, we'll load them up and take people to vote. You got these fellowship houses. We can have Men's Day, Women's Day, and all these other chicken days. And you can have a day when we can all come together and get in there. And what do we need to do for our community? Because when you get through eating the chicken and having the fish fries and all that, we still faced with this stuff that's going on in the government. So we need to sit down. What can we do about this? Because this affects all of us.
Right. That was good. So I heard strategy again. I heard unity. And I heard stay focused.
Stay focused.
So good, guys. I hope y'all getting some meat off these bones. Make sure y'all share it, because this is very good information. And I hope that we're not just doers tonight of this. I hope that we actually go out and schedule these town hall meetings. I hope we actually go out and schedule events at your church. I hope you actually go out and sit at the table with your children and your family and talk about these things. What resources are available, Dr. Coretta?
So one of the best resources I have found here in Harris County is the Harris County Tax Assessor's Office, because they handle all things voting, right? Okay. And that website is hctax.net. And so you can find a wealth of information on that website, right? I would also say to reach out to organizations like the NAACP, so that we can assist you with getting registered to vote, or getting you connected with other resources in your community. I saw something online where one of the D9 organizations was doing something on some of the propositions and constitutional amendments coming up on this ballot. So just being connected to organizations that are already doing the work. Like, we got to work smart and not hard. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, right? You take
Right.
advantage of what's already out there, what's already being done, and get connected. And once you get connected, stay connected. And I would even venture to say to reach out to your local party as well, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, reach out in that way. Get connected to your civic club or your homeowners association and have some level of involvement in that way. The things that are happening closest to you are the things that are going to affect you the most, right? So, start small. Don't try to, do a big, broad thing that may be too overwhelming, or you may not have the time to do it, but start small. Look in your community and think about, how can I get connected to an organization that's already doing some of the voter education and voter outreach work.
Was that HC as in cow, T as in Tom, H as in house, X as in X?
H as in house, C as in cat, T as in Tom, A as in apple.
Oh, A.
X, yeah.
Okay.
And then X as in xylophone. .net.
.net. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Put it in the comments.
Okay,
Thank you for the information. Hello to you. Hello, Miss Gomez. Hello, Gail. Miss Gomez says hello to Nick. It did not let me text that for whatever reason. Okay. I don't know. I think we got kicked off Facebook. It looks like. I'm not for sure. What resources? Do you know any more resources, Tracie?
And so in Galveston County, it's pretty much the same thing as Harris County. They have voter information at the libraries, the DPS office. You can go up there and get registered that way. The tax office. Also here at county courthouse, the Galveston County Court, because it is county. You can get it out of there as well. You can pick up any of the voter registrations inside there. They usually have them on the tables. DPS, they'll register you on the spot and take your information, and as well as the tax office. And so your local organizations, you can reach out to them as well. And I do love vote.gov because that will give you all the information, and legal women voters can log on to that as well. And it's just a ton of information where you can check to see, make sure that you're still valid, because people have been getting kicked off, see what's going on and stay up to date with what's going on with that.
There's some other apps. I think Tracie, we talked about last time, the Reach app, When We All Vote. That's Michelle Obama's group that she's working with. And I saw something today. I want to say it's called Vote 411. So it provides voter information as well.
I'm sorry, I was trying to type what you was right. Okay, so Vote 411.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's showing.
Okay, great information, guys. I know that a lot of people like to come back and rewatch. So I just kind of like for them to be able to see the info and write it down. Y'all have dropped some great nuggets. Nick, is there any resources that we have for the jails?
So, how it works because of course, the Harris County Jail is a actual voting precinct. A lot of people don't know that, but you can go there to vote. But as far as people who are currently incarcerated inside the jail, as long as they're a U.S. citizen and they are registered to vote prior to their incarceration, they should, under the law, be allotted an opportunity to vote. Something that myself and my criminal justice committee something that my criminal justice committee talked about last week is trying to make that a permanent thing. I know in 2021, Harris County was, I think, one of the first of all to do to actually cultivate a process of having people able to be able to vote while in jail and make sure that every person that was eligible to vote was able to vote. But that's something that our criminal justice committee for the NAACP has been focusing on. We just talked about this past week, is that we want to make sure that people who are incarcerated in the Harris County Jail, because of course they're innocent and still proven guilty, which means they're not convicted. So that means those people should be allowed a lot of that opportunity to vote. It should not be denied to them for any reason. I don't care at the end of the day if the sheriff, and I like them and all, but at the end of the day, saying I have a lack of manpower for us to have people stand in line to be able to vote is not an excuse. That's your job. He is the highest paid county official in this county. He needs to figure it out.
Amen.
That is so good. I'm typing it. People in jail. They're supposed to be able to vote. That is so great, guys. If you was registered before you went to jail, you should be able to still register while you're in jail. That is so great.
We have
And
a
I know that.
question here. Gail
Yeah.
Johnson wants to know, how can we help the homeless to register to vote?
Do anybody know that?
So they still have to have that ID. It's no different with them because the only different thing is what address. Do they have an address?
So they
They
have to
have a
have an
home.
address, Gail, and then yes, they will be able to vote. And believe it
Because
or
their
not,
voter registration card, once they register, the reason why the address is important because they have to have an address, a physical address where they can receive their voter registration card.
That is
Yep,
and
correct.
believe
and
it or
they need to
not,
have
there's a
they
lot
gotta
of
have an
people that's
ID
homeless that actually have a home, have somewhere that they call a home, like they have a place of residence
and a valid ID.
or a valid
Okay.
ID. Okay,
Okay.
And
So
that's
what about
that's
the
mostly
ones
the
who don't,
then
who are
no,
just truly homeless? They don't have.
they can't
Can they
vote.
so
use
they
a?
used they used to have a program mostly in Houston.
Thank you,
They
Gail.
haven't followed through too much, but that program they used to help homeless people get restored. Um, but a lot of them have mental illnesses and things like
Right.
that where they don't really follow through with it. But I think most of them, especially the ones who's freshly homeless, where they can help them real quick to get back on. But they can.
So if they have
They
a
have to follow through
mailing address where
and a
they
valid
can
ID.
receive their card and a valid ID, they are eligible to vote.
Yes,
Yes.
so
Thank you,
good.
And I
Gail.
can and I can say that the city of Houston, because I've been working with the director for Homeland Security, Director Larry Satterwhite, and Councilmember Twyla Carter. They have been working really hard over the last several weeks trying to gather up as many of the homeless population as they can and get them in adequate housing, get them to the right social services that they need. Instead of just taking them to jail because they're trespassing, but actually giving them the
Right.
resources. The people in the community are giving out the food and stuff like that. They have centralized locations for people to do that now. So in the process of doing that, voter registration and making sure they do have an address to vote has been one of the main priorities that I've seen that Director Satterwhite has focused on, because one thing I do admire that he always says is that they're people too. And we can't
That's right.
discount them because of them circumstances or because they're going through, because some of us could have been 1 foot in and 1 foot out the same situation, never even knew
That's
it.
exactly
So,
right.
so we have to make
Ah,
sure that we have to make sure that we extend the exact same kindness that we want others to extend to us. So I had to shout them out because I know that's something that they have been working on very heavily, and voter registration and making sure that people are able to vote regardless of their circumstances has been a big priority of Director Satterwhite and Councilmember Carter.
good question, Gail. So, Pastor Angela, what resources are out there that the church could offer?
Well, I can speak for me. I have, well, those ones who know how to contact me, and then the ones and my members have permission to give people my phone number, email, a message. They can contact me, and I am qualified to register people to vote.
Okay.
And so I don't mind if I could come to where they are. I've actually and I didn't get a chance to talk to her today, but I will and get with y'all next week. There's a apartment dwellings, mostly for senior citizens, where we have Bible studies, and they have a family center. So I'm going to talk with her and see if we can use that family center and set it up in that family center to register people to vote, because there I know 2 or 3 people there who say that they're having a hard time getting registered. So I figure if we could set up there in that complex, maybe if they don't have transportation, we can go there and register them there, because they're all in that same building. So she's supposed to actually be contacting me tomorrow about that.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. I love that. I love that everyone, all these organizations that's trying to make it fair for people to be able to come and vote. I love that for us. So what resources, okay, no, that's the wrong question. What is the process we can use to help? I know we kind of touched on it. So if you already answered it, Nick, that's fine. But what resources, what process can we use to help the inmates to make sure that they are able to vote?
So, as advocates, or just just as human beings, I think it's important that we realize that just because they are in that circumstance, that they still, again, they're not convicted, they're innocent and still proven guilty. So, I think it's
Right.
up to us as human, as the people, to make sure that we hold the county jail accountable and make sure that they give them the opportunity to vote. Because if they have the right to vote, we need to make sure that it's not squandered or held back for any reason. So, I think it's important that we also get our elected officials involved because at the end of the day, how can you spend all your time campaigning and raise guys money out here in the streets, but you can't even go to the people that's incarcerated who are able to vote? So I feel like sometimes our elected officials or the people who are attempted to be elected forget that populace of people because of the situation. And I think that we got to. That's where we have to go. Elected officials need to take more. I mean, we have to take it to commissioner's court because Harris County Jail is under Harris County, it's under the county judge, the sheriff. So that's something we need to take to commissioner's court, and just ask them to take a closer look at that before midterm elections, so we can make sure that the process is in place to make sure it's done right. Also, contact the Harris County Clerk's office, Ms. Tanisha Hudspeth. She's really good with making sure and ensuring that the processes of fairness are cultivated in our Harris County elections. So it's really just about accountability and making sure that the people on the inside realize they're not forgotten by the people on the outside, and we stand up for them.
That's good. That's good. So basically, we just need to hold people accountable, basically.
Yes, and encourage transparency.
And encourage. That's good. That's good. Tracie, when it comes down to organizations in the Harris County and Galveston County, what's available out there to help people that we can kind of get people to the vote?
So I'm going to tap in on Galveston County.
Okay.
And, Harris County too, Coretta. But for Galveston County,
I'm sorry, Coretta, Dr. Coretta. I just
don't worry. So Galveston County, Texas Democratic Women. We have Legal Women Voters, Bay Area Democrats, Black Democrats, Galveston County Democrats. We just have all of those. And then also, too, we have the NAACP locally here as well. So all of those organizations are here in Galveston County where people can tap in and join or find out what's going on and sit in meetings and see which way that they lean. Some of them are nonpartisan. But they can, the people like, hey, I'm not red, I'm not blue. Legal Women Voters and NAACP are nonpartisan. That means you don't have to pick a side. You can just vote smart. And so those are available here in the area.
That's good. That's good. Dr. Coretta. Hey, babe. Tell us about Harris. Well, before I go, so did y'all hear all the plethora of organizations in Galveston County? I want to step on that first. So, and I want to say that because some people are like, oh, I don't like her and she's in that organization. Oh, I don't like this. Or I don't want to go on this side of town. Or this isn't close to me. Did you hear all the organizations that she named in Galveston County? So something should be able to be either close to you, to your liking. And then sometimes we have to shake off the things that we don't like for the better good. Okay. And so I'm just saying that. And so if you could please tell us, Dr. Coretta, what are some things that's going on in Harris County?
So in Harris County, I will talk specifically about the NAACP.
Okay.
The Political Action Committee, along with our president, we've been working hard to educate voters, right? Okay. We've been hyper-focused on the CD18 race. We will soon be transitioning to looking at the election ballot. And some of the organizations, we have some of the same organizations that Galveston has. The League of Women Voters, NAACP, Urban League. We have the D9 organizations. We have Shape Community Center over the 3rd Ward area. We have local civic clubs. We have our different party organizations. Harris County Democratic Party and the Republicans have their meetings as civic club organizations as well. So there's something for everybody. We have road women. There are organizations that specifically target women and target, women of color as well. So if you are on any social media platform, you will be seeing any number of these organizations with ads as you scroll through your social media, because one of the things I have to give credit to is that they've realized people aren't just reading the Chronicle or, like it was when I grew up, the Post, the Houston Post. That was probably before some of y'all time. Y'all don't even remember that newspaper. But the Post is where, most people in my family, that's where we would get our news, right? A lot of people are not looking at the political commentary on TV because they're just kind of worn out from it all, right? So they're on these digital platforms getting information from various organizations, including the ones that I've named, the ones that Tracie has named. And I want to say kudos to Nick because and you've enlightened me as a previous candidate. I did not realize I could have reached out to voters who were being held in Harris County Jail, but who had not been convicted yet. So that was a voting population.
Good info.
I missed that possibly could have, had an impact in my runoff race, right? So kudos to you for that, for sharing, because that's a golden nugget, actually, that a lot of people are not aware of. So, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Great info. So if you in Harris County, you heard all the different companies, all the different organizations that you can get into. Like there's so many ways that that you can join forces with organizations so we can just rally up and get this thing moving, because we're tilting. I decided to be quiet. I'm just gonna say tilting. We're a melting pot, okay? So what is a precinct chair? What is that, Dr. Coretta?
So a precinct chair is basically someone who organizes their voting precinct, right, for their local party office, right? I myself am a precinct chair. And one of the things I do, some people do it differently. There's, a lot of ways to do it. You can block walk, you can go door to door. You can pass out, information on nonpartisan, flyers or even partisan flyers, push cards. You can also do phone banking. You can do texting. And so when you are organizing your community, that's primarily the job of a precinct chair, is to help to turn the vote out for the things that matter in that community.
Wow. I heard you can phone bank, guys. So for those of you like, I'm scared of dogs, my legs can't be walking in this Texas heat, literally, she said you can phone bank. Like that is so awesome. And so how would one inquire on doing that?
So you can reach out to your local party office, or you can reach out to some nonpartisan groups like the League of Women Voters, Road Women, some of the other organizations as well. They offer phone banking as well. And for whatever reason, the name is escaping me now, and I'm going to find it, y'all. But there's a website that you can actually go on to sign up to participate in various phone banking opportunities or text banking opportunities as well. And as soon as I get that, and I do this all the time, I don't know why, but the name is escaping me now. But it's a website where events all across the state, really, and even the country, can be listed, right? And you just register for the one that you want to participate in, right? And they're usually like over Zoom or something like that.
Okay. Can anybody be a precinct chair in Harris County? And if so, how do they do that?
So to sign up to be a precinct chair, you're going to have to, first of all, apply for the position. There is a form, an application you have to fill out. If there's someone who's already serving in that capacity, then an election, of course, would have to, both of your names will go on the ballot. So you have to go through an actual election most times. If someone is not completing a term or some other situation occurs, then you can be appointed, right? Mm-hmm. But basically you apply, and usually you're sort of appointed. And, again, the main thing that you're going to do is to, get your community engaged in the voter turnout process, whether it's through phone banking, texting, just having, coffee in your home on a Sunday afternoon. Or,
I like coffee.
I participated in an event one time where I won't say who was running, but that was a particular candidate running for mayor. And my aunt and I got together, and, we just put our little, funds together, and we held a small little event in her home. Right. And that person came out. We invited some of the precinct chairs in that community, and they came out and had an opportunity to talk to that candidate. And, and I'll just say it was that candidate won.
Okay. Good job. I like that.
So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that precinct chairs can do, right, to really engage people, and just really having these small house meetings is another way, to bring people into the fold, to help turn the vote out and keep people engaged and excited about voting.
Okay, I love that. So I don't know if Dr. Coretta want to do it or Tracie want to answer that question, but how could you become one in Galveston County?
It's similar. A lot of us too. It's similar. The same thing. Got to be 18. Got to be registered to vote, and then you fill out the application. Same thing as well.
Okay.
You can get with Taraja Gibson. That's our Democrat Party chair for Galveston County. She can take a look to see what's available, what's opening, and then any one of us too, we can partner with anyone and help them get along as long as that one is available.
Okay.
And so we do like to look at vacant areas to see and recruit, and we're always recruiting, or areas where there may be somebody that's not in it and is close enough to you where you'll be able to help with that as well. So there's
and
always
they could be a
room.
precinct captain in that case.
They can be a captain.
So let's say if you live in an adjacent precinct that doesn't have a precinct chair, then you can be the precinct captain for that precinct, so that there is some representation and someone who will get the information and help to keep that flowing, to people in that community. And just real quickly, Mobilize, that's the website that you can go on to find various voting events and things of that nature, locally, nationally. All of that is on Mobilize.
So good. Great information, guys. What is a DVR and how do you become a DVR, Tracie?
A VDR, voter declaration. And so what that is, we have that for Galveston County and Harris County. And what that does, that allows you to register people to vote. There's lots of ways that you can register to vote, especially going online. But the VDR is able to go to events and to be able to take that voter registration card from someone and drop it out for them. Now, people can do it themselves. You can fill out the card yourself and take it to the mailbox and go drop it out. But the VDR is whenever they're having big old functions, or even something as simple as, like, one person it was a line. I think it went viral way back when people was in line at Church's Chicken or Popeye's Chicken or something. And the lady just came through while people were standing in line and registering people to vote. But she was a VDR.
Right.
And so, right. So a VDR allows you to be able to train people. It allows you to be able to register someone that you don't know and take their private information. And you're also accountable as well. And so it's free, it's easy, but it's something that's very important, because the more VDRs we have, the more people and easier it is to be able to register someone to vote.
Okay. That's good. That's so good. So I want to, so is there an age for somebody to be a VDR?
And so as long as you're able to, 18 years old, register to vote, and then you can go ahead and get trained to do that. So I'm not going to overstep your questions. So as long as you're 18, registered to vote, you can be a VDR.
So good. I love that. So what do we need to do? And I want to ask everybody this question, because I feel like we need to hear from everybody. What do we have to do in order to get ready for the midterms? And we'll just start at the top and we'll just go right to left.
So that would be me first.
Mhm.
Okay. So, in order to get ready, some of the things that we should be doing now is making sure that our household is registered to vote.
Oh, so good.
Start with your most immediate network, your household, your church members, your extended family, people on your block, right? So these are all small chunks of people that you can get to within the course of a day and say, hey, are you registered to vote? Have you reviewed your voter registration information to make sure that you have not been purged from the voter rolls? Or to make sure that your address is correct, or that your name is spelled correctly. We had a situation where one of my sons, they had one letter in his name that was misspelled. They had the wrong letter. I was like, we're not taking a chance on having them invalidate your ballot or saying that you voted illegally. So we had to go back in and have Harris County correct that and have them send him a new voter registration card, because that is important. The way you sign your name on your voter registration card is the same way you sign your name on your ballot. These little things like this are things that people really need to know. Sometimes, we want to get fancy with how we sign. No, the way your name is on your driver's license, the way it should be on your voter registration card, and that's the way you whatever documents that you're using to show when you go to register, that signature needs to be the same. Because I know people who work at the ballot board, oftentimes ballots are thrown out because of the signature. Because it can be the same person, but because they sign their name differently, that makes it appear as though this is someone different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so good. Tracie.
We have a lot to do to get ready for it.
Mm.
We got to keep one of the things that we got to keep the momentum going. It is so important, and to make sure that we stay focused. There's so many distractions that's going on where people get caught up in one thing and forget about them. They're worried about something else instead of worrying about them. Making sure that they're registered to vote. Of course, like she said, the household registered to vote. But one of the things that I think is getting in contact and having a relationship with key people that cover big areas. It's just like the announcement clerk at the church. Can you imagine the impact of writing a list of churches that's in your area and then writing the information and the contact person who they need to call, and it's just a general letter, and pass it out to all the churches and say, attention, announcement clerk. And when they
So
see
good.
that and pass that on and keep that going, churches have 400, some have 500, some of them have 1,000. The congregation is big. Can you imagine if we made 25 copies? We went to 25 key churches, put the word out, put all the information that they need, put the contact who they need on there, and then turn around and do that every other week.
And
See the
that's key,
impact on that?
Tracie. That's very, very key. You mentioned a key demographic, and that's the church community, right?
Yes.
Because I often hear from people who are in, certain church communities. Well, God is going to take care of it. That sort of thing. They don't realize there's such a thing called activating your faith, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So oftentimes I have found that those are some of the most difficult people it is to convince that they need to vote, right? But the way that I turn it around is connecting it directly to something that impacts them, right? Social
I
Security,
love that they
Medicaid,
have
Medicare,
something.
things of
Yeah.
that nature. But the church community is a key demographic. Some
It
churches are
is.
extremely active, and in some communities, church members feel like, well, God will provide, and I just don't have to. I'm not going to worry about that. I'll let the Lord take care of that.
I love the fact that, so we just had a meeting this week and we've been talking about it, but to actually see a representative from the meeting, and Nick, you know what I'm talking about, that they're having the pastors association getting together. And I love the fact that not just pastors from the Baptist community or the Catholic community, all of them from everywhere, uniting together and getting on one accord. Now that's powerful. because it's going to take that. It's going to take them to being able to, people that don't look like each other, coming together on one accord to say, hey, we all have impact. I don't care if your group is 5 people or it's 5,000 people. All these leaders are coming together. This is something that I've never seen before. Also, different organizations that I haven't seen before that come in. They have the Hispanic Democrats, they have the Black Democrats, they have the white Democrats, they have all of that, and people coming together. So that's exactly what it's going to take, with everybody being on one accord with the same sound and being able to do this. Also, the consistency. Also, keep it in front of them. We need to raise the awareness of the dates and letting people know about, here are the candidates, and also exposing the candidates. Say, hey, this is so and so. Right now, there's campaign signs coming out of my area all over the place, and all they see is 2 names. Can you imagine if somebody took a sign and put the sign up there and say, hey, this guy right here is running for you, and it's legal. This guy running for you right here is the one that you lost all your taxes went up because of. And put that right in front of his sign. Can you imagine that? And that's just part of the education part of it. But we have to be that detailed. We have to spread the awareness. So when people going on with the ballots to say, I don't know who this person is, I see this and that. No, let you know. We're going to have to educate them. We got to stay on top of it. And it's going to take all of that. It's going to take all the details. It's going to take the follow-up. And it's going to take strategy to get ready for the midterm elections and not miss the local elections in the meanwhile.
We have 9 minutes, so we're going to just go to the next question, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Nick, why is it so important to have mail-in ballots?
It's vital. I remember a few elections past, I've served as an election judge, and, just being able to talk with people and talk with constituents who have had a hard time coming to the polls, whether it be for disability. I myself am a combat veteran, so I understand how important it is to be overseas in a combat zone and still be able to cast my ballot, even on my stateside. So I think it's a vital operation. It's necessary. And I just have to say what it is. The fact that the president of the United States is actually considering when to do away with mail-in ballots, it's just obnoxious, and it just undermines the very democracy of which our country has been based upon since its origin. And the importance of having mail-in ballots makes it easily accessible for people who may not have time to stand in line for several hours, people who may not be able to, they may be ADA or have a disability. It makes it easier for people to vote. There's no reason why it should be made difficult for people to vote. Like, there's no reason at all. I don't care if Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Pacific Islander, whoever you consider yourself. There's no reason why voting should be so difficult. So if anyone wants to do a mail-in ballot, I feel like it should be okay, as long as they follow the right procedures, as long as the information is not fraudulent, because, of course, it can be held under perjury. But other than that, I think it's important, and I think it needs to be kept in place, and I think it's safe just where it is, in the hands of the people.
I love that. I think it's safe in the hands of the people. I think everybody should have the right to vote, and it shouldn't be difficult. I love that, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
PastorAngelia.
Yes, ma'am.
What documents wait, hold up. Oh, and I'm sorry. It's early voting. Why do you feel like early voting is important?
I think early voting is important because all the reasons that we stated earlier about the mindset of people. And I think that if they know that they can vote early, it gets them more focused and it makes them more dedicated. It makes them, as Tracie was saying about us training, it makes them want to stay focused and get out there and learn about what's going on. Because a lot of people will wait until the day to vote. They don't even know who's running. They don't know anything about them. They don't research them. They don't try to find out. They just say, okay, well, they're a Democrat, but you don't try to find out what their beliefs are, what they're doing. And then they get to the poll. Well, I don't know who to vote for. But if you take that time to vote early, that means that you're taking time to research these people, to find out about them, what they're doing, if this thing that they're doing is going to benefit you. And so I think that it's important for us to get in the know and to be able to vote early, so you kind of got your mindset on who you're voting for and why.
I love that. So basically, early voting helps them stay focused and get them educated on the candidate. I love that. So you don't get to the polls like, I don't know who this person.
I don't know.
They got the same name as me.
Yeah.
And because we do it. You know what? Any, mini,
Yeah.
mighty, boom. That's who it is. Dr. Coretta, what documents do we need in order to be able to vote?
So I want to make a clear distinction here. In
Okay.
order to fill out a voter registration form, you need a state ID and a social security number.
Okay.
But in order to vote in person, you need, you can use your Texas driver's license, your Texas election certificate, your a Texas ID card, your handgun license that's been issued by the state of Texas, your military identification with your photo, a U.S. citizenship certificate that also has your photo, and or a passport photo, right? Birth certificates, utility bills, bank statements, government check or some sort of paycheck, something to verify your address. Any of those are going to be some of the acceptable documents to help you vote in person, to prove that you are the person who you say you are and you live where you say you live.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I hope that if you need to rewatch it, because she named a lot of documents. But what I did clearly hear is what you needed to register and what you needed to vote. What you need to register was way stricter than what you needed to vote. That's what I got from that. Does anybody else want to chime in? That's what I got. Okay, so Tracie, is there a difference in Galveston County, or is that going to be the same?
It's the same.
It's the same. Okay. In jail, what documents are they going to need? Because we want to be an advocate for them to vote. But now what are they going to need?
Well, of course, also, again, as I mentioned before, in order for them to be able to allow to be able to vote while they are incarcerated in the county jail, they should already be registered to vote. So by the time that they've been arrested, detained, or anything like that, they should already be registered because, of course, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they're not going to allow people, VDVRs, to actually be able to come in and register because of the risk of safety and different things like that. So they already have to be at a status to where they already registered to vote. Once, of course, that happens, then again, as long as the polling is allowed or permitted, or as long as the sheriff allows them to be able to, in a controlled, moving manner, to go and vote, those people who have been properly checked should be allowed to vote, which means they wouldn't just let a whole cell block go vote. They would ahead of time have to go forward and contact the clerk's office and find out based upon who was in custody, who actually has a legal right to vote based upon their information and based upon their registration. And of course, typically, now what I will say, this is something that we talked about last week, is in the matter of that happening, what if there was someone that was arrested that was indigenous and didn't have any form of identification on them or things like that? That's an issue that has to be troubleshooted more carefully, because then at that moment they can say you can't vote because you have no identification to prove yourself. So we have to make sure that we figure out ways to make sure that people who may not have ID, or maybe they were taken in custody, or even if we can establish a group that can even be able to find their next of kin to see if there's someone that we can contact and may have access to some forms of identity, just to be able to help that happen. I think that's what it would take.
Guys, I'm just running my mouth and I'm on mute.
Yeah,
I was saying, I can't hear
to make sure everything is okay.
So, Nick, you was echoing really bad, and so I was trying to troubleshoot to see why. I'm multitasking over here, guys. If this was helpful for y'all, I really want y'all to share it, because we really want to get this out. And so I'm going to let everybody answer this question, okay? We're going to start with Dr. Coretta at the top, and then we're going to go to Tracie, Nick, and then Pastor Angela. How soon should we? I know the answer is going to be yes, but so I want this is going to be listen. How soon should we start? I want you to say how soon, and I want you to give one thing that the audience should start doing, like right now. Give them one takeaway that they should do, that they could do right now.
So one thing that they can do right now is go on hctax.net and check their voter registration. And if they're not registered to vote, they can register, or if they even want to become a volunteer deputy voter registrar, they can sign up for that 1 hour training there as well.
Love
I know you
that.
said one. I know you said one. I'm sorry.
Overachiever. I love it. Okay. So, one, you can go and check to see if you registered because that's so important. And two, I signed up for the VDR class once already and did not do it yet, guys. So that's going to be on my next to do to sign up to be able to help people vote. So I can stand in the Popeyes line and get people registered. Tracie, what you got?
The same thing Dr. Coretta said, as well as, so that's her one thing, so I can get two. So do what she said, and then share it and spread it along with everyone else.
What are we sharing?
We're sharing the information on
Oh,
how, because that link, the information that she just said,
mm-hmm.
and vote.gov, that information, when you go all the way down there, it has you check it, how to register, all the questions, mail-in ballots, everything that's underneath that umbrella. And so go through it, look at it, learn it, check your status, and then share it with the world.
Love it. Love it. So basically what she wants you to do is go to vote.gov, go to the bottom, check your own status, and then share it so your next person can check the status. Boom. There we go. What you got? What you got, Nick?
I just want to say everyone just needs to mobilize. Right now, we need all boots to the ground. We need everybody engaged in the election process. If you can go to www.harrisvotes, and there's a plethora of information. I know for Houston and Harris County area, but that's the biggest thing. People just need to get engaged. Stop sitting on the sidelines talking about what needs to be done, and you're not even willing to get out there to cast a vote. If you ain't part of the process, you're part of the problem. So we just need people to get out there, get their hands dirty, and realize that at the end of the day, it's about protecting our democracy, and it's about looking out for the future of all of our people, all of us, no matter who you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Boots on the ground, www.harris votes. Is that right? I thought Harris
Yes.
said something. www.harrisvotes. Go on there and find something for you to do. Get your hands dirty. Boots on the ground. Let's go. What you got, Pastor?
Simply, how soon should we start? Now. And what we should do, you need to get involved and you need to get knowledgeable about what's going on in the government so that you'll know how to vote, when to vote, and then you will also know people that you can contact, and spread the word. Once you find, it's like once you find out something, pass it on to somebody else so they can pass. And we just need to, like I said, we need to get knowledgeable and we need to get involved.
Oh my
and
goodness.
As far as the church world, stop hiding behind the scriptures and operate in that faith that we keep talking about, that God is going to handle. Okay, faith without works is dead. Operate in the faith that you say you have.
So knowledge, get the knowledge, and once you get the knowledge, spread
get
the
involved.
Knowledge.
Yes,
get involved. Oh my God, guys, these are some great nuggets. I love it. If you love the show, I want you to definitely make sure you let them know what you like most about the show. Let them know something that you learned new about the show in the comments. And if it's something that y'all want to see again, because I know last time y'all was like, we want them to come back on again. If you want them to do another podcast about this, let us know what would you like for that podcast to be about. Okay. So I gave you homework. They gave you homework. So you need to go pick who you're gonna do, Dr. Coretta's, Tracie's, Pastor's, or Nick. Don't matter. But put in the comments what you're going to do. And then number 2, if you want to see them back on again, I want to know what would you like the topic to be? Because I know I learned some stuff today. Okay. And thank y'all so much for tuning in to Unmasking the Blueprint. Y'all know I'm on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. But I tuned in for a special occasion because we need to raise the political awareness. Yes. Thank you guys so much for y'all busy Mondays for stopping in and to be the part of the show and putting your boots on the ground.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.